As Sam has stated, are you all hearing me? Am I audible? Yes. Okay. As Sam stated, our session today, or our panel today, is about emotional intelligence, and we're going to touch on cultural intelligence. Actually, it will be a 2 sessions event. So this will be our first session, and there will be another session to go more deep into cultural intelligence and with some applications of both emotional and cultural intelligence. Truly, I will be running this with Norman. We'll be running this as a panel. That means you can ask whenever you want, whatever you want, and yes, we hope you participate with us. So before I introduce myself, Norman, please come in. Who are you?
Well, what about you, Ramy? Who are you as well?
I'm the fat guy. I will come back.
So I'll go before Ramy. So good evening, everyone. I think it's evening where you are. It's just after 11 p.m. here at night. And I'd like to welcome everyone to today's panel discussion on emotional intelligence and an introduction to cultural intelligence. Norman Grant here. I'm Canadian, but I've been living in Asia for the past over 25 years now. Mainly, I use in Tokyo as my base, but I traveled to China, at least before the pandemic. I traveled to China and other parts of Asia frequently. So I'm hoping that those trips will return. But as far as emotional intelligence is concerned, I mean, everyone has some degree of it, and definitely when I was in Canada, certainly I had it. But in Asia, when I came to Asia, of course, having a high level of emotional intelligence helped me quite a bit. But for me here, cultural intelligence has been a major learning process, and I have learned so much and hope to share that with you at some point. But again, welcome everyone. Have some good exchanges today. Thank you. Ramy?
Okay, so I'm actually a business and IT consultant. I'm in both worlds, and I have a PhD in human capital development, and public speaking training is something that I love. I do it for not only as a business, it's a fun thing that I love it. So basically, for our subject today, I'm located in Doha, by the way, in Qatar. I'm originally from Lebanon. For our subject today, emotional intelligence is something that is very important because, frankly, on a personal level, it changed my life. It changed my life in terms not only in better, business life. It's on a personal level and on a health level. It changed my life. So, who knows about emotional intelligence and who have touched on it before? Who heard of it before? Who would like to share with us anything? Yeah, Steve. So you can help us out, no? So we are going to. Okay, Daniel Goldman, yeah, is one of the. We can consider them one of the fathers in emotional intelligence. There are a lot of people working in that area, yes. So basically, if we want to simplify it and keep it simple, what do we mean by emotional intelligence? We are talking about basically understanding emotions. Our emotions, the people around us, the people who work with, the people that we are in contact with, but it starts with us. If you don't understand your emotions, how can you understand people's emotions? And emotions is not something that we just ignore. Actually, it's something that touches us on a daily basis, and it's growing. The importance of knowing more and more what's going inside of us and inside of our others is growing, because we are being affected by many things around us, and basically our emotional levels are on, all over sometimes. So when we are talking about emotions, okay, do you think that emotions affect us on a physical level? Health? Do you think emotions affect our health?
Definitely.
I will tell you,
Absolutely.
in 2009, okay, I'm a person who was like, okay, I'm not negative by nature. I'm a positive person. This is how we define ourselves. Sometimes we define ourselves, I'm a positive person, but sometimes you can be over positive. And that's what we call toxic positivity. So in 2009, I was facing a lot of stress, and though I considered myself a positive person, but I wasn't dealing with my emotions in the right way, to the extent that I got a stroke. And, I nearly went to the other world, nearly. So, yeah, I lived that. And it was more of, I don't know what it is and what happened. When I was talking to the doctor and he was checking my blood pressure, it was so high cholesterol. Well, that was serious. I was talking to the doctor, well, what shall we do? He told me, yeah, these are the pills that you are going to take for the rest of your life. So what? I'm gonna have to have this medicine for the rest of my life? He told me yes. Frankly, at first I don't know what to do. Okay, it's okay to have pills, but for the rest of my life, I wasn't happy with that. So I told him, okay, what's the reason? And here where the doctor told me, well, let me tell you something. For hypertension and for cholesterol, really 90% or 95% of the reason is stress. Wow, that means my emotions. That means I'm not dealing right with my emotions. And here where I started going more deep into emotional intelligence and understanding my emotions, basically. So, and this where everything changed. I did some steps, but we will go through several steps that we're going to do here. And I went through some steps and I changed my life. I changed my life to the better. Now, I got the benefit of having a belly, wow, with no cholesterols, with no hypertension. I'm just living my life. Okay, so yes, it doesn't mean that I have a belly, I have cholesterol or hypertension. It's how I feel. This is what I discovered. It's how you feel. What do you do with your feelings? So basically, when we are talking emotional intelligence, this is it. This is what we are going to see today, what we are going to do with our emotions, how we know it, how we get aware of what's happening inside of us, and how we regulate our emotions. So let's see, how do you feel today? How do you feel? Let me share something with you. Yes. Can you see my screen? So let's see. In terms of pleasantness, who feels he is fine, he is pleasant, he is happy today? He's calm. So Basically here, what I'm showing you is something called mood meter. A mood meter will help us define what we are feeling. We are defining what we are feeling in terms of two things: pleasantness and energy. So how you are feeling?
I feel calm.
You feel calm. And how's your energy?
Peaceful.
So is it good, middle, high? You feel energetic?
Yeah, I done quite a lot of work today.
Yeah. So you are in the yellow quadrant. Norman, how do you feel?
A bit overwhelmed with a lot of stuff coming up, work, but trying to keep in control of my emotions. It's one of the things of self awareness is keeping control of the emotions, whether they're good or bad. And I do have a few triggers, and I also have to keep control of the triggers as well.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I think I'm doing okay.
So where are you on this meter?
By nature, I'm always tend to be in the calm area.
So you're always, but how about your energy? It's
My
end of the
energy
day, so your energy is down. I know that.
Yeah. Yes, I think in appearance it would be in the calm, but behind the scenes I think it would be. Where would it be? Maybe worried a bit in the mind, worried a bit. Not sad.
A bit of, so you are in the blue, or
maybe a mixture, worried and
mixture between the blue on the line, on the border.
Right. I would say on the border, yes, between the red and the yellow.
Steve, how are you? Where are you today?
I'm in Indonesia.
Yeah, where are you in the mood meter?
Right now, I would say energized.
Energized. We try to define where are we? Okay, where are we on this meter? Because if we don't know where are we cannot move forward. So feeling sad or feeling depressed, is it bad? Who says it's bad? What do you think?
It's not. You need to actually acknowledge your emotions so you can actually process them.
Thank you very much. So even though sometimes we feel angry, it's our right to feel angry. It's our right to feel whatever we want. So our feelings, that's normal. It's part of who we are. Okay? But we have to acknowledge, we have to know how to define our feelings. Okay? Who you are. Sometimes, or some people tend to be what we call it negative. Frankly, I used to use these terms, negative emotions, positive emotions, but I really found that there's nothing really about negative emotions and positive emotions. It's not like negative and positive. It's just how you look at it, how you deal with it. And frankly, we have been asking about emotions all our lives. When you meet somebody, we just met, yes? The first question you ask is, how are you doing? What are you asking about? How are you feeling? This is exactly how what we are asking, yes? Okay. I hope, unless I think Chinese ask more, I hope you get more money. I don't know. So
I think everyone, all humanity wants money.
yeah, but usually what we ask is, how are you feeling? We always ask about feelings. Are we feeling right? That's because feeling determines how we operate, how we work. For example, personally, when I'm so happy, I eat. But when I'm angry, I also eat. So personally, when I'm stressed out, frankly, I cook. That's what I do. When I'm stressed, I cook. Or I do something else. I rechannel what I'm feeling with something else. And here is the name of the game, is what are you feeling? You have to know how to define it. You have to know how to, and it's not that easy. Frankly, it won't be that easy. It will take time. Some people tell me, okay, what about meditation? Do you think meditation can help you rechannel your feelings? Norman,
Do you want an
what
answer
Yes.
to that?
do you think meditation helps rechannel our feelings?
Maybe temporary, but it doesn't, it cannot stop it altogether. I think that we need to take control, as that lady said, acknowledge that feeling, whether it's negative or positive. But I think also, in addition to that, we need to understand where the feeling, what triggered the feeling. I mean, we have feelings all day, every day of our lives. And we need to understand the process, to begin the process of understanding our emotions, or even trying to get control, is to understand where these feelings come from, whether good or bad, and not to avoid where they come from, but to face them straight on. I think that has to be the starting point. A lot of times, I think people refuse to go to where their feelings are, their emotions. They tend to avoid it. But I think that's not the right way. I think they should go towards that, acknowledge what it is, and then try to deal with it.
Yeah.
Ramy, can I just add? I mean, when we meet, we got into the habit of asking people, "Oh, how are you?" We never say how you feeling. We just say, "Oh, kifik, how are you? How are you?" I just wonder, are we doctors? Why do we keep asking, "How are you?" I mean, maybe if we would to change that into asking them, "Are you happy? Are you, wouldn't that be better?"
What is happiness?
Happy. I mean, are you happy with what you have? Are you excited? Are you whatever it is? Like, do you feel happy with yourself? If you're not, get happy, be happy.
Maybe, but sometimes, when we ask people, how are you? It means, like, personally, I used to say, or sometimes I say, I'm always fine. This is usually my answer when somebody asks me, how are you? Well, I'm always fine. But this does not mean that I want to share my feelings with people. Now, you can see that I like people, I love people, but sometimes I want to be by myself. I don't want to share my feelings. This is me. So every person has his own way in reflecting whatever he wants, whatever he has feelings inside. But usually when we say, how are you? And look at it like that, we say, how are you? We expect directly somebody to say fine. But there will be like, an alert when somebody say, okay. The next question will directly be, so what happened? Is there something wrong? So you see that when somebody is really open to share, he won't say fine. But here, the person will be in a state where he's starting to think, or he's thinking of what he's feeling or what she's feeling. The person is thinking, well, am I really fine or not? But they are still in a mood where they have this undefined feeling. So as Norman stated, the first thing is we have to know really know, define what we are feeling. If we weren't able to define what we are feeling, okay, and why we are feeling that, why? Okay, so for example, if somebody was talking to me and he's a bully, you know, bullies are everywhere now. There are a lot of bullies, okay? So, and he was talking to me. Usually it's normal, a person who's bullying me it's normal for me to get angry or frustrated. But I have to go back and think, what really made me frustrated? Is it his bullying? Because some people might bully you, but if you don't believe what they are saying, they won't affect you. So it's not the matter of ignoring what they are saying. It's the matter of going inside yourself and seeing why bullying is affecting you. So when you get angry, why? What's triggering the anger inside of you? What is it that is triggering this anger? We have to think on a more deep level. And this is where we have to give yourself a time to understand, well, this is the emotion that I get because of, you have to always ask, because of what? What's happening? Okay. Once you understand the emotions, you can move to the next level. But other than that, you will be stuck with the same emotion, not understanding it, and basically cannot move forward. And this is the basis of, raising your emotional level, emotional intelligence level. And emotional intelligence can be measured, and okay, it has a certain quotient, like the intelligence, like IQ, we have EQ, emotional quotient. And frankly, in business, it's more, it's more needed than the IQ. Higher EQ, okay, are more reliable in business than people who just have IQ. They can do more. They can perform on a different level. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So an IQ, of course, is about intelligence, and IQ is not concerned with how much knowledge you have, because IQ is about how you learn. That's intelligence, it's how one learns. It's not about how much knowledge you have. And as far as the IQ and EQ are concerned, the EQ has no connection with IQ actually. And there are, in actual fact, surveys have shown that people with high IQs could have a low EQ and not do well in the job. And the opposite can happen. So it's very important for EQ, sorry, is very important, especially in the workplace and in our relationships with families and people around us.
Is it okay to add, Ramy?
Yeah, please.
I mean, he talks about work. I'm just going to take it a bit further and say emotional IQ and EQ, you can even involve it in your money. And there's a famous Japanese author that has this book about money EQ, which is, I'll try to Google him and find his name, but it's amazing. So how you relate to money, how to relate to everything as well.
Yeah. Like people find themselves, money makes people like feel safe. Some people who need safety or who needs to feel stable, they might find that having more money for them is a good reason or a good thing to feel better. But frankly, it's not always about money. Money is just a result that comes in a later stage. But there's something from inside that makes us feel, for example, unsafe or threatened. This is where we go back, and this is where I encourage people to look into the mood meter and start using that mood meter to define themselves. And it's not just a one-day job. You can see how your emotions evolve during a period, how you are reacting to things, reconsider situations that happened to you in your life and how you responded to it, and what was the effect of that. So basically here, we are having this journey inside ourselves, because based on that journey, I can say, well, once I understand what I'm feeling, I know how to deal with it. I will have to set a strategy how to deal with it. And this is what we call self-regulation. We regulate our feelings. We have a strategy on how to deal with things. So the thing that I told you about when I had that stroke, and basically I had to take the medicine for a while, and this is where it came to me that I have to understand what's happening to me, why I am stressed. Well, I started going back to what's happening, how am I feeling at work when dealing with certain things, issues at work, and how I'm dealing at home with my family and some personal issues that were happening, and how I'm responding to things. So I started noticing that I tend to take things and or I say I'm positive. So I always have this inside me. I'm a positive person. I'm a positive person. Nobody can shake me. Nobody can make me angry. This was my motto. This is what I always was saying. Nobody can make me angry. Well, and when somebody attacks me or talks to me, or he put me in such a situation where I should be angry, I try to suppress the anger and basically push it inside and fake that I'm fine. So I started understanding that my trigger was, I'm not dealing with my anger. I was ignoring the anger part, and basically that's creating an inner stress that got to me at the end. So once I understood that, I had to formulate a strategy. So how I respond to that. Okay. And responding to that means that if I'm angry, how I should tackle my anger, with what? Should I respond violently to people? Should I respond with a high tone? Should I respond and show people that I'm angry? The thing is, I wasn't showing people that I'm angry. I wasn't showing the emotion at all. Okay, as well, I was swallowing that emotion to that, with the food that I'm taking and the emotions that I'm taking in, so I became even five, you know?
Ramy, can I ask you, is it you're not dealing with the anger, or you're not dealing with?
So here, I started going to the second part where, how are people feeling about it? So at the first part, we were saying, well, let me share something with you. First of all, I was trying to understand myself and set a strategy to respond and manage my emotions. But what I wasn't doing is I didn't understand this strategy, how it affects other people. So when somebody makes me angry, I turned out to start, talking with high pitch, loud voice, attacking them in response. This is at first how I thought it should be done. And I started hurting people when I responded that way. And you know, when you hurt people, some people do not care. Personally, when I hurt somebody, I got hurt. I'm a type of person that I don't like to hurt people. So I felt that I'm back to square one. Okay. And here where I started understanding that there's something that we should also understand. It's not just understanding myself, it's understanding the other people, the social. I should have the social awareness. Okay. Understanding where the people come from with their words, with their actions, with whatever they are saying, why they are saying that to me. How do they think? Okay. So this is the step that I have to move forward to understand. And basically, okay, after understanding that, I have to go back and adjust my strategy of dealing with anger. Now, frankly, the thing that suits me, the way that suits me is when I'm angry, I respond, but I respond with sarcasm. I'm sarcastic. I might, I make the person inside, like in front of me, feel that, yeah, he feels my anger, but at the same time, he's laughing at the way that I'm responding. So I have this sarcastic way of dealing with it, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way I'm responding. I can put my point forward and let people see that I'm angry or I'm not fine with what they are saying, but at the same time, okay, like it's making me assertive, but at the same time, it's not my type of blowing up the anger in a way that is a loud voice, shouting. It's not my type. So now I found my type. I found the way that I can channel my anger in a way, okay, which is sarcastic. So this is me. Everybody has to go back and start seeing what's their strategy in using their anger, how they use their anger. And frankly, I found that when I'm angry, okay, and I get stressed out of it, or I'm not happy with something, okay, there are certain things that I do and I can release all the anger. For example, for me, I go back to cooking. Cooking releases many of my stress sometimes. Okay? So there are things that you have to understand where it's coming from and how you're going to respond to. Norman, do you have anything to add, please?
Yes. Stress is, I mean, we all have stress for different reasons, but as was pointed out earlier, the source of that stress is something that we need to look at and to understand and try to overcome. And definitely, if we avoid the stress, it will probably just get worse or have some effect on us eventually. But in the workplace, for example, there can be a lot of stress, especially in the past year and a half. And this stress perhaps is triggered by some emotions, different people. You know, they're worried about something or the other. And companies that I know here in Tokyo, there's some companies that have hired coaching companies to help people with their personal stresses. Um, but again, emotional intelligence is something that is not taught in school, should be. And in the companies, they try to help people there, but I'm not sure if they're doing a good job of this, or if they understand it quite well. Are there any questions in the audience?
Questions?
Yes, are there any comments or questions from the audience? Maybe in the chat. Are there any
No, I
questions?
think all are fine. Emotional intelligence levels of their employees, because they understand that people with high emotional intelligence basically have better performance. So, and you can see it when you are not feeling well, you don't want to work. You don't want to do things. You just want to sit. Sometimes we want to just sit and whatever, I'm not feeling fine, you know? So here's the thing that people are, and especially with whatever, or with all the things that are happening around the world now, okay? Yeah, people's emotional levels are being affected big time. Those who have high emotional intelligence levels, or who know how to identify and regulate their emotions, currently are responding better to whatever is happening around us. And basically, these are the people who are still performing at a better, pace. So, as we stated, that the two parts is being basically knowing yourself and managing yourself. The same is knowing your surrounding, especially when it comes, for example, for workplace. You know, most of the organizations have their something what we call the inside politics that they play. Okay. So, is it bad to play the internal politics of an organization or not? What do you think?
Can you repeat the question, please?
You know, every organization have some inside politics, internal politics that is being played. Is it okay? Is it okay to play the internal politics? What do you think?
It's not whether it's okay. When I worked in corporate America, it existed, but I wasn't much of a participant. I still rose, if you want to call it, in the ranks, but I was never the girl that joined them for happy hour or, yeah, happy hour kind of stuff. But I did do charity things or something, but not, I wasn't the happy hour girl after work. Yeah.
Norman, is it okay to play the internal politics of your organization?
I think
Excuse me?
I think that you'll find Monica, I think she just didn't go there. I think there'll be some people like that, and there'll be some people who will enjoy being in part of, in that situation.
Yeah, I know.
Right. But as far as emotional intelligence is concerned, it doesn't make one better than the other, whether you are in it or not in it. I don't think it has any effect. It only has to do with how you handle your emotions to whatever is happening around you. I think that's the most important part.
The thing is, internal politics affects the emotions of many employees.
Right.
And some get frustrated, and some, they just understand it. Now, frankly, this is part of understanding your surrounding and understanding your social environment and how it affects you and affects others. And I think here where we will, at a later stage, I think, Norman, when we come to cultural intelligence, here, this plays a huge role in it. Yes?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So,
Can we take questions? We've got Dace with her hand open.
yeah, please.
Dace, go ahead.
We're not hearing you, Dace.
Are you speaking?
She was trying to speak, but we cannot hear her.
Oh, maybe she's sorting out her microphone.
Yeah, I think she has. We still can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? It's not a question, but it's a comment, because I am of the opinion, I have been in various places, in various countries, in various organizations, external, internal, and I would say the higher the hierarchy, the better you can show your madness, because you allow yourself to show this madness. And the better you are in intriguing and in playing these games, the better you rise. And there's also a gender perspective to that. What I think that still you have to do this masculinity contest as a woman to become part of these buddies games. But that doesn't work because your social role is a different one. And it's difficult. You cannot pretend to be a male and do the same games as they do. So you can't drink them down the table in the evenings or something. Something is a matter of decency that you don't do. So I have been doing a lot of jobs with expats situations where there were no women at all. So I was just going out myself alone, and that's it. I'm used to it. But that normally only works with gents, how they are doing their own playing their own games. That's a different one.
Yeah, this is actually, these are facts. These are happening. This is the word. This is what it is. You know, now, and this, for many people, creates a lot of frustration. So some people will deal with that, will understand that, well, that's the situation, that's what's happening, okay? How people feel when I act in a certain way, okay? So I have to understand the social environment around me. What are the different feelings? For example, in certain countries or certain places or certain organizations, okay? I've worked in organizations where 95% of the organization are of the same nationality. And I'm of a different nationality. So it wasn't about male or female. It was about nationalities. Okay.
It can
As
happen.
a human being, frankly, I always consider we are racist by we are racist. We deny it, we don't deny it. We are people, we are racist. Come on. We are always racist about something. Okay. We try not to be. Yeah, but here where it is, like, I've worked with the company with different nationality, but I was able to reach to higher places to a certain extent. It's not that just playing the politics, but understanding what's going around, how they are playing it. It doesn't have to be playing it the same way they are playing. Surely, for me personally, what ethics comes first, that's something, but sometimes it's understanding how people respond or how people respond to certain things, okay? Understanding how they feel about certain things and just, you know, adjusting myself to be there in a certain place. So understanding people's emotions and social surrounding will help you in reassessing also, okay, your strategy towards many of your emotions, especially in workplace. I don't know if that's too much.
We have another hand up. Omar, go
Yeah,
ahead.
please.
Yeah, hi there.
Yeah, Omar.
Really interesting topic of conversation, but I actually just wanted to throw a curveball in to what you're kind of talking about in terms of workplace environments and obviously on an organizational level. And some people, they actually thrive on being in a hierarchical organization where there's strong influences, and they want to have almost elements of dictatorship and control. Case example being the likes of Trump, the North Korean leader, Putin, and people of that nature. And I've also, on the course of my own work recovery sort of thing, spoken to people who work in organizations where that is actually seen as being acceptable and a way of actually going and getting places. And then people follow suit because then they understand, well, that person's a leader. We need to lead by example and do the same thing that they do. So I think there's a fine line between balancing what is, and I totally understand where you're coming from, but equally there is obviously in the real world examples where that is seen as being the way to really succeed and become successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Or how would you check that?
I will check on that the moment.
So normally, the higher up you are in the company, the higher level of EQ one needs. However, in reality, sometimes, as the gentleman just said, we have dictators at the top level. But the problem is that, I guess, what we need to look at is that how long do these people last in those positions, you know, and how effective they are.
Well, they are effective.
They are effective to the company, I mean, to the people that they serve. Are the people that they work with, are they happy with them?
Well, I think here effective, it's measured by that satisfaction of the stakeholders, or the satisfaction of the owner. Sometimes the owners do promote a certain way of behavior, and some owners, I recognize that certain owners, they like to have managers that bully their employees.
I wonder about the turnover
Yeah.
in such companies.
And they still do good business. For them, they want to do good business, whatever it is.
I guess, you know, if some leaders think in the short term, I guess they could be a dictator and then run the company down somehow. But I mean, if you're looking at the long term, they you know, having a high level of EQ and treating people the right way, it has got to be the better way.
Absolutely, Norman.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious about Days. Days, am I pronouncing it correct? Days?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Sorry. I mean,
I'm used to this all my life, so.
Okay. So you have been near to the top. Do you think dictators can last a long time, or what is the effect of having a dictator at the top?
Well, there's a saying: people leave bosses and they don't leave companies. I would say when you can afford it, you leave this toxic environment, or this environment spits you out. I have been regularly spitten out. And that is why I have my own company, I have my own firm, I'm my own, because I am the one who is telling the truth, and not many people like to be told the truth.
I mean, that's really good. Sorry, is it okay to say something? Ramy? Something just fell.
What's happening?
You have to find out in which
Something fell off my roof.
And what is your environment you feel the best, and where you feel at ease? And you have to find out throughout your life in which kind of environment you feel right. And I'm a completely mess. I'm not meant to be an employee. That doesn't work with me. But you have to find it out yourself.
Yeah. Do you want to go, Ramy?
Yeah. So here where really, Norman, I find that culture in different places in the world, cultures is what plays a huge role in certain places where, you know, when I told you about the people who, business owners who promote dictators to be there, okay, well, actually, that's a certain culture that exists, okay, and these people exist, and they are still in business because they have been there for a long time, and they are still there. Okay. So that, I think, differs with culture. I know for a fact if this type of company is somewhere in Japan or maybe in many countries in Europe, it might these type of companies might not survive. They will have to do a change. So basically, dealing with social, understanding social environments around us, being aware of what's happening about us, how people feel, okay, requires us to be more skilled in many things, such as being better communicators, improving our communication skills. I find improving communication skills is the basic, okay, for dealing with many cultures, or with many, not only cultures, with many situations where you are dealing with certain or feelings of people. Because the way you approach people sometimes, okay, and this is what we always say, well, you know that the way you approach people is will give the people the hint how you are, or they will have a certain thought about you and how you know, or what they see in you. Okay, so the thing is, the skills that we will need, okay, basically, mostly we know them. Let me just share again.
So while you're sharing, my question is, do we really need cultural intelligence? Do we really need to understand it? Does it?
Yeah, and this is where now we'll go to cultural intelligence after that, and I think then I will leave things more to Norman to go into it. Our second will be mostly cultural intelligence, but for now we'll go with some tips. So basically, dealing with our social environment, what are the things that we need? As I told you, first of all, we need to have better communication. And basically, if we know how to communicate better, we will be able to have higher influence on people. And, you know, using this type of communication or better communication as can be done even with personal matters. Like personally, okay, I'm a guy that have 2 boys. And most of my life, I'm living in a country and they are living in another country, okay? I always visit, yes, but we are living just, you know, far away. But I still managed to have a good communication with them and a good level of communication with them. And even I was able to influence their behavior in many of the things. It's the way I communicate with them. Okay, so basically having the social skills is very important, and also altering sometimes the emotions of other people. Okay, So when we say in business, for example, the social skills that we will need are mostly that we know being influential, okay? Some people would like to act as coach and mentors, okay? I'm one of the people who likes to act as that, because I always believe that being a coach or mentor or being a trainer, basically, sometimes it's good not only for the people, it's always good for me, okay? Ability to be, to work in a team and to inspire people as a leader, okay? This is something, yeah, this is a skill that we develop as we develop our higher emotional level, okay? So for example, when we take somebody like Carlos Ghosn, who was in a certain company, who was the CEO of Renault, and then he moved to Japan and was the CEO of Nissan. So he had to understand the culture there, and this is where cultural intelligence comes in. But at first, he has to understand what's going on around him, how people feel about certain things, and how he's willing to make the change, okay? Or what are the change that he wants to make, and how we're going to deal with people so that he can influence them. And he was successful. And I think Norman can share the story in more detail when we come to cultural intelligence. Okay, so going there, I will leave the stage for Norman to introduce us to cultural intelligence, maybe, as an introduction for now, and maybe share a story with us of.
Okay. There's no doubt that emotional intelligence is an essential tool for everyone, no matter whether it's in company or privately or in the community. And next comes the cultural intelligence. And whereas emotional intelligence deals with me and my emotions and my understanding the emotions of others around me, so cultural intelligence has to do with how I interact with other cultures. Now, when I use the word cultures, many people may think I'm referring to countries, different countries. I'm not. I'm actually referring to other people. Nowadays, we have monocultures, like Japan is a monoculture, but we also have what we call multicultural people. Mr. A was born in country A, but went to school in country B, and is now working in country C. So which, nowadays, okay, most of the time we will say, where are you from? Okay, I'm from Canada. But I think the new question we need to ask people is, which culture influences you the most? That's a better answer, because where you're from just tells us which passport they carry. That's all. Now, cultural intelligence can easily go almost anywhere in the world and be able to apply certain personal tools in order to get our goals achieved anywhere. And but even you don't have to go anywhere in the world to do that nowadays. You can the next chair to you in the office could be someone from a different country. And so you're dealing cross-cultural, even right there in your office. Now, cross-culture has to do with how we interact with people in other countries, from other thoughts, where they think differently. Normally, we think we are always accustomed to certain ways that we do things. But when we meet other people, we need to be able to communicate. And not only communicate, but be able to reflect on that communication and to learn from it, because that's what's going to help us in getting our goals. A lot of people, when they go to other countries or go to cross-cultural interactions, they're thinking, oh, what should I do? This is all, it is so different. There's a negative feeling towards different. But I think people are missing the point. Those differences form the roadmap to achieving their goals. And the quicker people understand that, I think the better for them. So today is just an introduction. I didn't want to go too much into it, but are there any questions in the audience?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. I'm talkative.
Okay.
I'm very talkative. But
Okay.
I would say, in this community, everybody is cross-cultural anyway, because we're
Right.
living anywhere else. So we are different already. And
Right.
I would say, the more countries you change, the bigger the coordination system gets and your perspective gets. And it's very difficult to talk with people who are living in their narrow village and haven't
Yes.
seen anything else. So I have been on purpose joining this group of Internations because I wanted to have more exchange with people who are used to something different.
Right.
Because
Right.
I miss this perspective, this cross-cultural perspective. So I think this is like carrying owls to Athens. We know
Yes.
it. We know it.
You know, I have been living in Asia for over 25 years now. And can you say that I'm Canadian still completely? No, I don't think so. I might be Canadian in one thing and maybe just become Japanese in something else. And as a matter of fact, I can tell you that does happen. Whenever I go back to visit my family in Canada, I always take my shoes off at the door because I like that. But you know, that's cross-culture. But famous people such as Edward Hall, and I'm not sure if I'm going to say this correctly, Greet Oxfide, and the other guy, Trumpaniers. These are the pioneers in the field of cultural intelligence. But their area is very generalized. The information that these guys came up with is very useful in getting a general idea of where people could be. But you cannot be sure until you really get to interact with a person and understand where they're coming from personally, because each of us is different. Each of us is different. So when you talk to anyone, actually, you're going cross-cultural, you know, in a sense.
Okay. Thank you, Norman. So basically, just to recap on all our discussion, okay, I would like to remind all to go for that, the mood meter. And this is the point of start, as I have mentioned. The point of start is understanding your emotion. So as we have said before, the point of start is also always to understand yourself, understand your emotion, and monitor yourself over over a period. How you react to things. When are you mad? When are you sad? When are you calm? And just, you know, flag it there and flag for a while, okay, your emotions. And each time try to understand what's triggering that emotion. Okay, so this is the point of start. And then set your strategy on how to deal with that emotions. And as we said before, it's okay to get angry, it's okay to get sad, it's okay to get, but what's triggering it and how to deal with that is the main thing that we are after. So as an introduction, I think we covered what we're supposed to cover. Any questions? No questions? Any answers?
I think you guys covered everything.